important, which is how the elements of the story affect the character. Main characters will always change because of the plot. This is the plot. We're specifically going to talk about exposition right here, which is the who, when, and where. It's the introduction to the setting and the characters that are in the story. Today we're going to talk about how setting affects the characters. Again, the setting is the when and where of the story. So this is a star child, and we are going to explain character development using the star child. Character development is just how the character changes over the story. And of course, they're not going to change at the very beginning because the author has to explain how they are in the first place. So when we're talking about exposition, we aren't necessarily talking about how they've changed, but who they are at the beginning. I want you to think about this in a personal sense. If your setting is home and the characters that are around you are your family and friends, you are going to be thinking, saying, feeling, and doing very different things than if you were at school, right? So you might be thinking about all the chores that you have to do, your soccer practice. You might be saying very personal things that you talk about with family and friends that you wouldn't talk about with a teacher or with your peers at school. You might be feeling safe or comfortable. You might be doing chores or relaxing, right? So, how does the setting of home affect what we are saying, thinking, feeling, and doing? Because the answer is not because we are at home. The answer is because we feel safe at home. Because our setting makes us feel safe, we are going to be relaxing. Because our setting of home makes us feel comfortable, we are going to be saying personal things. We're going to be relaxing. We're going to be feeling comfortable. So let's flip it and say that our setting is school. And the characters are teachers, friends, peers, maybe even bullies, police officers, principals, and the other staff at the school. We are going to be thinking, saying, feeling, and doing very, very different things. We're going to be doing our schoolwork while we're at school, right? Might be feeling anxious or nervous or overwhelmed because we have a lot of work to do at school. We might be saying things like x equals 3 or the setting affects the characters because, and that's not generally something you're going to say when you're at home, right? And you might be thinking about science, or you might be thinking about language arts. How does the setting of being at school affect what we are saying, thinking, feeling, and doing? Because the expectations are different, we are going to be feeling anxious because we have a lot more expectations at school than we might at home. We might be saying things because our teachers are telling us to give them the answers. The setting is changing what we are saying, thinking, feeling, and doing. And just like our settings will affect what we are doing, the same goes for our characters. So how is the setting at the very beginning of the story affecting Esperanza? I will show you. At the beginning, Esperanza is spoiled at the beginning. Her setting is a mansion with lots of money and servants, and since she is spoiled, she has no reason to think of others' lives. The world revolves around her. Question number 1 says, what is Esperanza thinking? I think she's thinking life is fantastic and perfect. I never want my life to change. Question number 2 says, how is the setting affecting or shaping Esperanza in the beginning? The answer is not, because she has a mansion, lots of money, and servants. That's what the setting is. I want you to tell me how this setting is making her think that everything is perfect and life is great for everyone. The answer is because if she is rich and is only seeing good things around her, then of course she will think that everything is good for everyone else. She has no other reason to think otherwise. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell me if you think if we put Esperanza in a different setting, could her thoughts change? Yes, of course they could. Just like us. If we're at school versus at a home, we're we are changed by our setting. So you're going to go through and you're going to answer these questions about what Esperanza is thinking, saying, feeling, and doing. And then I want you to tell me how her setting is shaping who she is as a person and thus what she is thinking, saying, feeling, and doing. If you have any questions, as always, please email me.